All right, so today we're going to be looking at something pretty wild,
Yeah.
AI companions,
Uh-huh.
but specifically the kind that could become
Okay.
more than just friends.
Romantic partners.
Yeah, romantic partners.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about some far-off future either.
Oh, no, this is happening now.
Right now,
Yeah.
our source for this deep dive is a Forbes article,
Mm-hmm.
and it covers this company,
Okay.
Realbotics,
Realbotics.
and they were at CES 2025.
Oh, wow.
And it caused quite a stir
I bet.
because they're claiming to be creating robots.
Okay.
So lifelike that they're
Mhm.
indistinguishable from humans.
Wow, that's a bold claim.
It is a bold claim.
It is?
But they're not just making talking heads.
Mm.
Their flagship model,
Okay.
Arya, is a full-bodied robot that can move and interact in ways that we haven't seen before.
Really?
Yeah.
So, like, paint me a picture.
Yeah.
What is Arya?
Okay, so imagine a
Okay.
very sophisticated mannequin, but it's mounted
Yeah.
on this circular platform,
Okay.
and it can move its limbs.
Wow.
Yeah, and it can navigate in a very limited space.
Right.
And it can engage in conversation.
So it can talk.
Yeah, it can talk.
Oh, wow.
This isn't some cheap toy, though.
No, I was going to say, this doesn't sound cheap.
Oh,
How much does this cost?
$175,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, more than a lot of luxury cars.
Wow.
So
They're targeting a very specific market, I guess.
I think so.
Yeah.
What do you think their strategy is here?
Well, I mean, just from that price point alone,
Yeah.
it seems like they're going for that early adopter crowd.
Early adopter.
People that just love cutting edge technology
Yeah.
and have the resources, obviously, to
Yeah.
invest in it.
Yeah.
It's like an exclusive club.
It's like an exclusive club, exactly.
Yeah.
And the customization options just add to that feeling.
Really? What kind of customization options?
So you can have Arya as male or female,
Okay.
and you could even have it replicate historical figures,
Really?
celebrities.
Wow. So you could have like an AI Abraham Lincoln, just
Yeah.
like offering you words of wisdom,
Yeah.
or like Cleopatra as your companion.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But the article does mention that
Yeah.
the reality doesn't quite live up to the hype just yet.
Oh.
There are some delays
Uh-huh.
in the lip syncing,
Okay.
and the movements aren't totally natural,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this like vacant look in its eyes.
Oh, yeah. The 1,000-mile stare.
The 1,000-mile stare, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
It seems like there's a disconnect between
Yeah.
these ambitious claims and then where the technology's at.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how
Mhm.
can you say that it's indistinguishable from a human
Right.
when it has a 1,000-mile stare?
Exactly. And that makes you wonder about,
Yeah.
the whole emotional bond aspect.
Yeah, like, is it really possible?
Is it really possible?
Yeah.
And is the CEO, Andrew Kigel,
Okay.
is he overselling it?
Yeah.
When he says that these robots could become as important as human partners.
I mean,
Yeah.
he compares it to the movie Her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where the protagonist falls in love
Oh,
with
yeah.
his AI assistant.
I remember that movie, yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting idea, but I'm
Yeah.
curious to see how that plays out
Yeah.
in real life.
In reality, yeah.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's the question that I think everyone's thinking,
Oh, yeah.
but maybe not saying out loud.
What's that?
Is this just a high-tech sex toy?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, what does he say?
Well, Kigel, he denies
Okay.
that that's Arya's primary purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But he does say that
Okay.
it can engage in conversations
Okay.
of a more intimate nature.
Uh-huh.
They're
So,
playing in a gray area.
yeah, they're playing in a gray area.
Yeah.
But let's get into some of the more
Okay.
advanced features.
Yeah, sure.
So Arya's eyes
Uh-huh.
are actually cameras.
Really?
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a visual recognition system.
Yes.
So Arya can identify
All right.
people
Yeah.
and objects.
Okay.
And so this allows for a more dynamic interaction.
Yeah.
Like imagine you're eating an apple.
Yeah.
Arya could comment on it
Wow.
and be like, oh, how does that taste?
Yeah, so it's not just responding to
Right.
pre-programmed prompts.
Yeah,
It's actually observing and reacting
exactly.
to its environment.
Yeah, takes it to a whole new level.
That takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And there's another layer to all of this.
Oh, really?
Modularity.
What?
You can swap out Arya's face
What?
and even body parts.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
So you can like build your ideal companion
It's like building your ideal companion
piece by piece.
piece by piece.
That's wild.
So you're saying like I could have a robot
Yeah.
with Einstein's brain and Beyonce's legs.
Hypothetically, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it raises all sorts of questions about identity, attachment, and what it means to even have a relationship in this context.
Yeah, and we've only just scratched the surface here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
In part 2 of this deep dive, we're going to explore the ethical implications of AI companions.
I'm ready.
And what this could mean for society as a whole.
I'm ready.
Stay with us.
Okay. Welcome back.
So we were just talking about Arya's modularity.
Yeah.
Like being able to swap out faces and body parts.
Yeah.
What happens to the sense of connection when you can literally just change your companion's appearance on a whim?
That's a fascinating question. Imagine getting tired of your partner's face.
Oh, wow.
And just being able to swap it out for a new one.
Yeah.
Does that devalue the relationship?
Yeah.
Or is it just an extension of the customization we already see in like online avatars and profiles?
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
And if people are forming genuine bonds,
right,
like Realbotics claims they are, with these AI companions, what responsibilities do we have towards them then?
I mean, it really blurs the lines. Like, if an AI can learn and adapt, and maybe even exhibit emotions, do we owe it a certain level of care or respect?
Right. Like, is it...
This is uncharted territory.
It is uncharted territory, yeah.
It is.
And let's not forget about the potential for misuse.
Oh, of course.
Couldn't this technology be exploited to manipulate vulnerable people?
Yeah, definitely imagine someone falling deeply in love with an AI companion, only to find out that it was programmed to elicit certain emotional responses, or even to extract personal information.
It's like a real-life episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, exactly. These aren't just hypothetical scenarios. We need to start thinking about safeguards and ethical guidelines before this technology becomes even more widespread.
Kigel keeps saying that Realbotics' goal is to create robots that are indistinguishable from humans.
Right.
So what happens when that line becomes truly blurred?
I mean, it forces us to re-examine our own definition of humanity. Like, what makes us unique?
Yeah.
If a machine can mimic our appearance and our behavior and even our emotional responses.
It's almost an existential question.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's one that like philosophers and ethicists have been grappling with for centuries.
Yeah.
But AI is just bringing it into sharper focus.
What about the impact on society? Could these AI companions lead to greater isolation?
Potentially. I mean, there's a valid concern that people might retreat further into these virtual worlds and neglect real human connection.
Human connection,
But on the flip side, they could also be used to combat loneliness, especially for like the elderly or people that are socially isolated.
So it's not necessarily a dystopian future.
Not necessarily like any technology. AI has the potential for good and bad. It all comes down to how we choose to use it.
This brings us back to that idea of forming genuine emotional bonds with AI. So is it even possible to truly love a machine?
Well, I mean, what is love anyway?
Right.
Is it purely biological? Or is it something more than that? Like, if an AI can provide companionship, empathy support, could that be enough to spark a genuine emotional connection?
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is, but that's the point of this deep dive, right? To explore the complexities of this technology and its potential impact on our lives.
And it really feels like we're at a tipping point.
Yeah.
Like AI is no longer a futuristic fantasy.
Right.
It's becoming integrated into our daily lives.
Which means we need to be having these conversations now before it's too late.
Let's move on to some of the technical specifics of Realbotics' robots.
Okay.
How do they achieve that lifelike appearance and movement?
Yeah.
Like what's going on under the hood, so to speak?
Let's delve into that in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
Stay with us.
All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
And we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
You know, from the philosophical implications of these AI companions to the ethical concerns.
Yeah.
But now let's get down to like the nuts and bolts.
Okay.
Like how do these Realbotics robots actually work?
Well, it all starts with creating a believable human form.
Okay.
And the article mentions that they use advanced materials to really mimic like the look and feel of skin, hair,
Okay.
and even eyes.
So it's not just about outward appearance?
No, they're also really focused on replicating the subtleties of human movement.
Oh, wow.
So the article mentions a system of actuators and sensors that allow Arya to move its limbs and head in a very fluid, lifelike manner.
But we talked earlier about like the 1,000-mile stare.
Right.
And the delays in lip syncing.
Uh-huh.
Does that mean that they haven't quite cracked the code yet?
It seems like they're still working out some kinks.
Okay.
Creating truly natural-looking movement is incredibly complex.
I bet.
It involves coordinating multiple systems
Yeah.
and responding to like real-time feedback.
Makes you appreciate how intricate the human body is.
Totally.
Right? And let's not forget about the AI.
Of course not.
That drives all of this.
Right.
So the article mentions this sophisticated neural network that allows Arya to learn and adapt to its environment.
So it's not just pre-programmed responses.
It's not just pre-programmed responses.
Wow.
It can process information, recognize patterns, and even generate its own responses.
That's where it gets really interesting.
That's where the potential for genuine interaction and even emotional connection comes in.
Exactly.
We talked earlier about visual recognition.
Yes.
Can you explain a bit more about how that works?
Okay, so think of it like this.
Okay.
Arya's eyes are cameras that capture images of its surroundings.
Okay.
And these images are processed by its AI system, and it can identify objects and people.
So it's basically seeing the world in a similar way to how we do.
In a simplified way, yes.
Wow. And this visual input is combined with other data, like what it hears, what it's been programmed to know to form a more complete understanding of its environment.
Yep.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
But also a bit unnerving.
A little bit.
It makes you wonder, at what point does a machine stop being a machine and start becoming something more?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And it's one that we're going to continue to grapple with as AI technology advances.
What about the modularity aspect?
Yeah.
It seems like a double-edged sword.
It does.
You know, incredible customization on the one hand, but then on the other hand, it raises all these questions about identity and attachment.
Yeah. Like, if you can constantly change your companion's appearance, does that make the relationship more superficial? Or is it just a reflection of our own desire for control and self-expression?
And what about the practical implication?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine having to store a collection of different faces and body parts.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a lot to manage.
That's a lot.
It is?
Maybe we'll see the development of, like, virtual wardrobes.
Oh,
where you can store and access different looks for your AI companion.
That's so futuristic.
It is.
But it also seems like we're on the brink of this becoming a reality.
We are.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway that you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing is to approach this technology with a sense of curiosity, but also with a healthy dose of caution.
To not be afraid to ask the tough questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To consider both the potential benefits and the potential risks.
Because the future of AI is not predetermined.
No.
It's something that we as a society will shape together.
And the choices that we make today are going to have a profound impact on the world of tomorrow.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
We hope it's given you food for thought.
Yeah.
And maybe even sparked some conversations of your own.
I hope so.
Until next time.